What is up, guys? My name is Mr. Random, and I haven't been posting any Halo 4 gameplay or commentaries for the entire week that Halo 4 has been out, which I think is kind of stupid. So I thought I'd make a video today just giving you some tips and tricks that I know, as well as linking you to some tips and tricks videos on YouTube that I've used so far. And just a little disclaimer before I continue on with the video: I'm not a professional gamer. I've never done any sort of MLG thing. But I have been playing Halo for over a decade since Halo 1 came out. I used to do LANs over at my friend's house. So I think I could give you guys some tips that might help you out when you're playing some matchmaking. Now, the first tip that I would give you is related to positioning. I think that for good positioning, you never want to be too aggressive. This kind of goes back to when I was playing League of Legends a little bit. I know a lot of the commentators like BBK and Vito always say, like, play some League of Legends because it'll help with your positioning in Halo 4 as well, and it's completely true. You never want to be too aggressive because it's really easy to get pinched, and you want to always know where the enemies are as much as possible. I mean, idealistically you want to know where they are all the time, but that's never really going to happen. So you just want to know where they are as many times as possible. And a good example of what not to do is near the end of the game, I actually go push forward to help one of my teammates out, and I end up getting pinched by the entire team. So that's a good example of what not to do in positioning. Another thing you should focus on is, and this is actually something that not many people take into consideration, just because they're kind of thinking like that's their ordinance. They don't want to give it to somebody else. And some people give it to somebody else, but if you really think about it, a really useful strategy with ordinances is actually synergizing the ordinances. So let's say you have your friend who got a saw and you got a damage boost. If you give your friend your damage boost, that saw is going to be really powerful in the game. And that's just something that you could do that'll help out your team in the long run, although it won't buff your regular kills. So another thing, and this is something that I always have trouble with, when you get pissed off at a game. So let's say you've been playing a couple games and you keep losing, and it's getting really frustrating. You have some randoms on your team and you don't. Yeah, you know, it happens to everybody. A really useful thing to do is just go play something else. Just play like a fun game. I mean, for me, it's like Trials Evolution or Minecraft. You go play a little game, and just a little non-competitive game, and you just relax for a little bit, and then you can come back to Halo 4 and you'll be much better off than if you kept doing matchmaking, just carrying your anger over to the next game. And here are some of personal strategies that I use, moreover than the general strategies that I have been giving to you guys. And this one's going to actually contradict the previous statement I said about going and playing something else, as long as you're not getting super pissed over the other team. But if you are continuously losing against another team, or if you lose against another team, my strategy would be to continue to play against that team, because there's either two things that team was doing. They're either doing really cheap maneuvers in order to win, in which case at some point you're going to beat them anyways, or they're actually a team that has a useful strategy that would be beneficial to you to stay in and try to counteract. So I think that one of my personal strategies is sticking into a game no matter how many times you lose, because I feel like overall you're going to end up in a better situation than if you just left. Another thing that I would recommend is not to try to be a jack of all trades. I'm not perfect with all the weapons, but I am proficient with the sniper, so that's why I usually try to go for the sniper, and I don't try to take away other people's power weapons. It's kind of self-explanatory, you know. Oh yeah, this is a really important one, just because now running has just been standardized throughout all the game types. You should know when you want to run, not when you want to, but you should know when to run and when not to, because running, the delay after you stop running is enough to get you killed in Halo. So you should really know when you want to stop running. And basically, a really simple method that I thought of is, if you don't know where all the enemies are, or you feel like you're pushed past the halfway mark on the map, then you should focus on walking around and getting your positioning rather than continuing to run towards the enemy base. And another one which I find extremely useful, especially since not everybody knows all the maps yet, is to use your environment to your advantage. So I'm not sure if it was this game type, it might be another game type, another Solace gameplay, but I use these tunnels in the bases to juke and flank the enemy team. So knowing your environment is a really important thing to being good at Halo, because you can use it to your advantage in many situations. So like, you can juke away from your enemies if you're getting shot at, you can flank the enemies to get behind them so that you're pinching them with your teammates, or you can use them to bottleneck your enemies. So I've been playing a little bit of Regicide recently, and what I basically did, especially on Complex, I played a Regicide on Complex, and what I basically did was I went into that middle building that has the tunnel, the hallway, and I basically stayed in there the entire game, and it bottlenecked all of the enemies who came to try to kill me. So they would come in through the doors, and I would either have a bolt shot, so I'd be able to shotgun them immediately, or yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's as simple as that. You bottleneck your enemies so that they can't attack you all at the same time, so then you don't have issues regarding getting team shot and such. Another strategy that I actually just thought of because I got stuck just there. There's this thing that people like to do in this game, and I don't know why, but I think they feel like sticky grenades are like the mother of all grenades, just because they can attach to an enemy and then kill them. And I heartily disagree with that. And I mean, I've experienced this many a time. I've actually had a couple of games where there's players who they have camo on, and then they will crawl around with camo, and then as soon as you get close to them, they go out of camo and then chuck both their sticky grenades immediately. And I mean, you could just dodge them, and then if you dodge them, they're screwed. They don't know what to do. And it's a really cheap strategy, and it doesn't really help you out in the long run. So I would very much discourage trying to use that strategy. And I've always been using frag grenades in my loadouts, so I'm not really sure the utility of plasma grenades and pulse grenades. I actually know that pulse grenades, I think they give you 1 at the spawn instead of 2 as opposed to the other grenades, but I feel like frag grenades have the most utility just because you can bounce them around a lot easier than sticky grenades, although sticky grenades do have a little bit more bounciness to them in Halo 4 than in past Halos. I just feel like frag grenades are a little bit easier to use if you're trying to bounce around a corner to get an enemy that's hiding. So I would recommend frag grenades over sticky grenades or pulse. And then those are pretty much all of my personal strategies. Now, I mean, I'm not perfect at the game. I don't have all the strategies, all the tips for you guys. So I thought I'd just recommend a couple video guys. I recommend a couple videos for you guys to watch that would help you out. And you could just search YouTube videos for Halo 4 jumps and callouts and tricks, because there's a billion different videos you could find from people that are much more experienced than I am in terms of callouts. I'm not actually that very good at callouts, so I didn't want to do it. See right there, you see the guy stuck me, and it's like, what's the point, right? He died anyways. It was a trade. Yeah, so videos for YouTube. Yeah, so just search for like jumps and callouts and stuff like that. It seriously will help you a lot, even if you're playing with random people. And I know that a lot of people are complaining about like the fact that there's no X over your dead body, and hopefully they get that fixed, because that's something that like carries over. It's like a generally known call out that helps with matchmaking when you're playing with random people, so hopefully they'll get that fixed. But in the case that they don't, you really just have to hope that people are studying up on callouts as much as you are, and try to play with your friends as much as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have a nice day.